Hi, you've tuned in to Radio Northern Beaches, your Listen Local station, right here on the Northern Beaches of Sydney. You can find us on your radio dial at 88.7 and 90.3 FM. Can't get to a radio? No worries. You can always stream our program live from anywhere in the world at rnb.org.au. And for listening on your own schedule, our podcasts are available globally at rnbpodcast.com.au. So be sure to follow and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. Now, here is our latest podcast. The Lillypillies is an indie pop rock music band. Known for their dynamic fusion of rock, indie and alternative sounds, the band crafts emotional charged songs that blend infectious melodies with heartfelt lyrics. Since their debut in 2021, the Lillypillies have steadily built a following with 2 albums and a series of well-received singles, including Loner and a Misfit, Save Me and Addictions. In 2024, their song All Around the World popped the AMRAP Metro charts. Their latest release, Don't Leave Me Broken, March 2025, showcased their evolving artistry featuring introspective themes and rich instrumental layers. With an active presence on social media and streaming platforms, the Lillypillies continue to connect with their fans worldwide. In the studio today, I have Manny Atanasio. Hi, Manny.
Hi, Chrissy. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming along. I was listening to your new single.
Yes, Don't Leave Me Broken, that one.
That's the one. So Don't Leave Me Broken. I've been really enjoying that. So tell me a little bit about how that came to be.
That one, I guess, with my music, the style of music that we do is quite, I guess, broad, and I like to balance it a bit. I like to do rock, like indie rock, but I also like some indie pop. So our previous balance it out a little bit, and working on our new album now. So Don't Leave Me Broken, I guess, is a song. I don't know what it's about. What's it about? It's about, I guess, heartbreak and heartache, really, but always with a positive spin. That's how I like to see our music.
Now, you're presenting this as the Lillypillies.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about your partner in music.
Lillypillies is we're a duo, and we kind of started doing this project about probably about 5 years ago now, 4 or 5 years ago. Alessandro, who's my musical partner, who I've known for a very, very long time, we thought we would, and we hadn't collaborated in a very long time, and we, during COVID, we thought, let's just some music again. It's been so long, over 15 years, I think it was, maybe even more. So we kind of started doing a bunch of songs. We thought, let's try and just put them out there and release them and see if we get some sort of, reaction. And we did. These days now, I think we're blessed with, the internet and YouTube and all the online streaming platforms, because you can actually reach the world pretty much. And we just started with 1 or 2 songs, and we noticed that they were sort of getting some attention, and we kind of continued, and then we put out an album, and then we put out album number 2, and now we're working on album number 3. So it's just been fun, really.
I've listened to Loner and a Misfit.
Yes.
That was released on the 17th, 1st, 2025. Then you've got It's Never Too Late, which was in 2024, and Summertime and All Around the World in 2024.
Yep.
So are any of those part of an album?
Yeah, so I think back in the old days, I think the way that people used to release music was they would, release an album and maybe release 3 or 4 singles out of that album, put them out on MTV, and the world has changed now, and most of the bands, not so much even the indie bands, but most bands now sort of, try and push their singles, and then release the album after that. With some new material as well. Just the way that everything works now, it's not like it used to be. And that's what we're doing. So we've released a bunch of singles, and they will go onto the album with a bunch of completely new material that no one's heard before. So
we found you on AMRAP. People know that I do 2 programs for AMRAP, the regional and the metro. So that's where I found you. Tell me a little bit about how you came into music and how you met your friend.
We met in Italy because that's where I sort of grew up for a lot of my sort of high school years. I actually went to high school in Italy, and then it's a long story, but I have an Australian accent because I lived here as a child, and then my parents didn't want to live here anymore, so we moved to Tuscany, where I grew up until I was in my sort of mid-20s, and that's where I met Alessandro, and we were very, very heavily into the music scene back then. I was the bass player of a band, he was the drummer. Now I'm the sort of, singer bass player, he's the guitarist of the band. So that's where we sort of started, and then we kind of lost track with each other throughout the years, and sort of found each other again many years later. So we decided to, I guess, pursue our passion, which has always been music.
So you're a Northern Beaches musician too.
Yes.
Whereabouts on the Northern Beaches do you actually live?
Beacon Hill.
Beacon Hill, only up the road from me. I'm at Cramorite.
We're neighbours, we didn't even know it.
Exactly, we're next door. We've got some fantastic musicians on Beaches, some older musicians of my era, and then we've got some fantastic new ones coming through. You guys seem to have some really great music happening.
Thank you. I think, we have really been blessed with people's reactions, and we got so many comments on YouTube. Every single that we release gets at least 100 to 150 comments on YouTube from strangers, really. And then we actually, last year we had one of our songs got to #1 on AMRAP, which was really, really surprising. It was all around the world, and I wasn't expecting it. And then one day I checked, and it's like, it's the most downloaded song by Australian DJs on AMRAP. Wow, it's like
that's excellent. Which one was that?
That was a song called All Around the World.
Oh, that's the one I was listening to. Yes, I can understand why. It's a good song. What are you looking towards in the future?
I guess it's just been really, really fun to see how far we can take this, and we don't have unrealistic expectations. We're an indie. We're indie artists, we're not signed artists. So, it has its challenges, obviously, but that's fine. I mean, I still feel that I'm blessed to be able to do what I do, which is basically write music, produce it, and put it out there to the world and we've got this small little fan base that's very, very loyal, and it's very, very rewarding for me. So I just want to keep going and see how far we can push it.
Excellent. And do you ever get to meet your fan base?
You mean face to face? I have, yeah, but mostly it's people from all around the world, really. No pun intended with the song, but we do, get a lot of messages from people, especially in the USA and Canada, as well as, Italy and Germany. I don't know how or why, but even when I look at the Spotify plays, a lot of them are not from Australia. They're from everywhere. So, which is great, because music has no boundaries.
No, that's right. My show goes out all over the world, and I am fascinated by the different countries that I register, and I wonder often, because it won't tell you whether they're expats or whether they're actually native to that country. So there's a curiosity there. If anybody knows that, or if there's anybody overseas listening, get onto our website, rnb.org.au, and let us know who you are that are listening to all these wonderful Australian music songs. Tell me more about the process you use to write your music.
So I guess my passion is actually to, even though I'm a singer and I play bass guitar, my passion is actually music production. And I'm thinking maybe I should have just become a producer and produced other people's music instead of my own, because that's really what I enjoy doing. I mean, I love singing as well, but there are things that I dislike. Like I dislike recording the vocal parts, because I just find the whole process really, really, I guess, challenging or whatever. But the process is that I usually just come up with a melody and a hook. Hooks are very important. You have to have some sort of, catchy chorus or catchy verse or riff. And I just build on that. And I've got a little home studio set up. I just go in there when I'm inspired and start creating and building and producing the songs. And that's how I work.
It's always fascinated me where these words and songs come from, because they're so varied, and I've said it to other artists that I've had in the studio. I'm absolutely amazed at what you guys come up with. It's just brilliant. You play guitar, and apparently your son plays guitar?
I play bass guitar. I'm not a very good guitarist. My son, who is a lot better than I am, yes. But he's a little bit shy because he's a teenager. He doesn't know how good he is, but he's pretty good. And sometimes I need him and I use him in my recordings. And the other day I called him out and he came and I said, "Can you please record this acoustic bit?" Because I can't do it. And he did, and he nailed it. And so I'm blessed to have him as well.
And it's great to have him at home. If you've got the studio at home, you can just call him when you need him.
Exactly.
How awesome is that?
That's exactly what I do, yeah.
tell me about the process that your partner in music and yourself, how do you get together and get this all lined up and down?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So we mostly work remotely. I do travel a lot. You know, a lot of the music videos that we've done, that's also a very fun thing to do as well. Is actually to make the music video. So when I know that I've got a trip lined up and I'm going to go and see him, then we organise the video shoots and stuff. But we just work, like at the moment we're working on a brand new song. And I sent it to him, and I just said, "Look, this is a very, very rough draft. See what you want to do with your guitar bits, and send them over." And then I kind of create the song like that. It's just like almost like building blocks, and yeah.
So once you get it together, how do you get it down and all recorded? And what do you add? Do you add anything, or do you just leave it as it is, or how do you go about that? Because you said you use other people in it as well.
Yeah, so I just I basically because music production is my passion, I just really analyse this, not just my song, but even other people's songs. If I hear something on the radio which I think is interesting, I'll actually go home, look it up, close my eyes, sometimes even find a version with no vocals and just really analyse what they've done, the hi-hats that they use, or the snare, or the bass, or the keyboard parts. And I'm fascinated by analysing the production of songs, even, songs from today, whether it's someone like Lady Gaga or Coldplay or whoever, or Metallica or whatever. And with my songs, after there's a rough version of the song down, I just sort of analyse them, thinking, okay, are you happy with the mix? Does it need anything else? Do you want to add some more guitar or take anything out? The final test is the car test. If it sounds good in the car, then it's ready to be released.
That's a good way to figure it out. I haven't heard that one before.
Always the car test.
So guys, if it sounds good in the car, it's okay.
It's ready to be released, yeah.
I might shudder a little bit when I think about us singing in the car. That doesn't go down too well. We're well and truly out of tune most of the time. But no, that's great. Tell us where on the web we can find you, because you've got Facebook. Have you got Instagram?
Yeah, so we're on all the streaming platforms. We're on my socials as well, so TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and I guess our Linktree is probably the best way to find us, because on our Linktree takes you to all the other websites as well.
Okay, so tell me about a Linktree, because I've never heard that before.
Linktree is just it's a website where you can pretty much just showcase all the other links that you have. So as I said, if you count Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, Facebook, and then there's Spotify. What else is there? Amazon Music and iTunes and Apple. There's like about 10 of them, and Linktree just sort of, with the one link, you can access all of those. Okay,
so that's new to us. Yeah. And so what do you just type in Linktree and the name of the band, the Lillypillies?
Yeah.
And then you find all your connections. How cool is that? That saves a lot of surfing the net.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay. So have you got any gigs coming up, and how do you feel about doing live gigs?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have any gigs lined up at the moment. I used to gig a lot prior to this project in my musical past, so I feel very comfortable gigging and being on stage. But when I did that in my musical past, I wasn't really very prolific with songwriting, and now it's kind of the opposite. I just really wanted to focus on writing some songs that I'm really, really proud of, and just keep building our repertoire, I guess, which is why we're up to album number 3. And when the opportunity arises, we can then start performing a lot of these songs live. And we have done a couple of gigs here and there, and they're actually on our YouTube channel. We did one where we streamed it on. It was actually sort of done in a studio on the Northern Beaches, and we just sort of live streamed it on it for our YouTube fans, because they're all around the world. And then we also did a gig in Italy in a place called the Tea Club, and that's also out on YouTube as well. So if you want to check that out and go to our YouTube channel, you can see Lillypillies live at Tea Club.
Oh, wow, that'd be interesting, in Italy.
Yeah.
So how long have you spent in Italy? You said you went back over there for a while. How long?
I usually go a couple of times a year for various reasons, and last year I went twice. The year before I went twice as well. I've got a couple of trips lined up this year as well. It's also for my job, and so it gives me the opportunity to go back there, and also, you know, while I'm there, after I get all my work stuff done, to meet up with my friends and be a bit musical and just continue the journey.
So what's the musical scene in Italy like? Do you get into it, or do you just go out and enjoy it, or how do you interact with it?
Well, I mean, it's, you know, I think the music scene in Europe in general is or has always been, you know, so vibrant, and there's so many bands, even famous bands. You know, I'm not sure if you've heard of Måneskin, but they won the Eurovision Song Contest, and they had the #1 song in America with what was the song? It was "Begging." I'm begging you. They were an Italian band, but you know, I guess the good thing about Europe is that everything's so close together, and nowadays especially with the budget airlines, you can be in London from Italy in like 2 hours with, you know, and spend €50 getting on an EasyJet flight. It's a little bit more difficult in Australia because we're so remote and far away from everything. You know.
This is very true. It can be very expensive. So tell me, how does the European music scene differ, if you can use that word, to the Australian scene?
Look, I think that in general, you know, the whole music scene has changed in the last, you know, ever since streaming platforms are a thing, like in the last 10 years. I think things like record companies aren't what they used to be. You don't really need to be signed to a label to release music anymore. So I think that's changed the game, really. You know, once upon a time, if you didn't fit a certain format, if you didn't fit a certain radio station format, or if you weren't signed to a label, there was no way that you would get heard. And nowadays, it's not the case anymore. But to answer your question, you know, I think that, as I said, once upon a time, it was also about trends as well. So if you had, during, you know, the 90s, you either had to be grunge or you had to be, you know, R&B, or there was only 4 or 5 genres of music, whereas now there's a market for everything. So I think no matter what genre, I mean, we play indie rock, indie pop, but no matter what style of music you do, there's a market for everybody out there. You just have to find your niche, and you have to find your audience. And it's not always easy. It's not always easy. No, it's not. But I think that another thing that I'm a big believer in, the fact that, you know, once upon a time, people always say, oh, you know, the music of the past was better than it is now, and now the music that we get subjected to is not as good as before. I don't think that's true, because I think that the difference is that you actually have to go look for it.
I agree, because I troll through the AMRAP, etc.
And there are some amazing artists out there.
There are. I'm finding some amazing artists. And again, I found your latest.
Thank you, Chrissy.
And I was enjoying that. So the Lillypillies, people get on and have a look for their music. Give me that website again that you can get to everybody.
It's the Linktree.
The Linktree.
Yeah.
I think I'll write that down this time because I want to investigate that. The Linktree. You're putting together an album at the moment. How long did it take you to write the songs to be able to put an album together, and how many songs have you got on this album?
I'm actually slowing down a bit. When I first started, I had, you know, I was very, very quick, but now the process is starting to slow down a little bit. Also because I'm getting a little bit more tedious with everything that I do. But I'm up to song number. It's going to have 10 songs on this album, and I'm up to the 10th one now. So I'm hoping that it'll be released within the next 3 or 4 months.
Oh, cool. Well, looking forward to that. And do we have a name for the album? Am I allowed to know the name for the album?
Yes. It's part of a trilogy. So our first album was called Run to the Future. And during COVID lockdown, you know, I wanted nothing more to not be in lockdown, but to actually look ahead and run to the future. And a lot of the songs were about, you know, being somewhere else in the future. There's a song on there called Wake Me Up in a Few Years' Time, for example.
I can relate to that.
Our second album was called Songs from the Present Day. So we've got future, we've got present. And it's an album about, you know, problems of society. You know, there's a song called Addictions. There's a song called, you know, Waiting for a Revolution. Just things the problems of today's society. And our up-and-coming album, because it's a trilogy, is going to be called Teleport Back. We've got future, present, songs from present day, and Teleport Back, which would be the title of the third album.
And do we need to know what the lead song would be on that album?
Teleport Back.
Oh, okay. So it's the same name as well.
Yeah,
how cool.
yeah.
All right. That's fantastic. Well, it's been really great talking to you, and thank you for coming in to have a talk to us. And everybody get on to the web and check out the Lillypillies and their new songs.
Thanks for having me.
You're listening local to Listen and Chat with Chrissy Mack on Radio Northern Beaches 88.7 and 90.3 FM, also streaming on rnb.org.au and podcasting on rnbpodcast.com.au. If you wish to listen to the whole of the program with the music from the Lillypillies and other music that's included in the program, you need to jump on to Mixcloud, that's mixcloud.com/Chrissy Mack 123.
Australia, the lucky country. We've got meat pies. We've got the world's best beer. But most importantly, top of the list, we've got Radio Northern Beaches 88.7, 90.3. Now hitting the entire world on www.rnb.org.au.